Lake Lewis does a great job covering the NFL, but we know he also covers the NBA as well, and he's kind enough to join us on the Boardwalk on the Hotline. Should I say congratulations on your Washington Capitals?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was, 30-something years overdue. Well, not 30-something, 40-something years overdue. So, hey, good times for both cities, for both regions, both areas. I've had Eagles do something up that way, and I can say this. This might not be it for this time. I mean, the Nationals are another team that's been playoff disappointments. Maybe the Capitals can them winning the Cup can rip some mojo off on the Nationals.
Well, hey, listen, I mean, nothing better than watching a guy like Ovechkin finally get able to hoist the Cup, so certainly.
That was a nice story right there, Q. That's a guy that we know is one of the game's greatest players, one of the greatest scorers of all time, and it just, he's been labeled as I don't want to say a loser. I don't think anyone would say that about him, but definitely as a guy that may not have gotten the award that he's deserving of because he hadn't won the big one. I think now just that one cup, just him putting that over his head is now put him in that elite category, on time. And I think that it's deserving for him. He's a great player. He's not just a one-dimensional player. He's a physical player on top of that. So it was just good for him to get it done.
No, you're absolutely right. Again, a couple minutes with Lake Lewis on a Tuesday. All right, last night the NBA awards came out, and again, I don't get as enamored with the awards as a lot of people do. People want to spend 25 weeks talking about Ben Simmons. Does he deserve Rookie of the Year or not? Or he got the award. James Harden got the MVP. I mean, you could have made a strong case for LeBron. Obviously, the writers saw it in Harden's favor, but still, at the end of the day, you look at a player like Harden. I think he's always going to be that wonderful scorer, never plays defense. His teams will win 55 to 60 games. Maybe he wins another MVP award, but I still don't believe he is a championship caliber player. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I don't want to go as far as say he's not a championship caliber player because I do think if Chris Paul had not gotten injured, I mean, we could be talking about Houston as a team that finally took out Golden State. They were that close to doing it. But I will say this. I'm in agreement in some of your sentiments and the fact that I don't think they got either one of those awards correct yesterday. And I know you guys have Simmons up there, and he's a great young player, but he wasn't a rookie. I'm sorry. If you can practice against NBA players for a full year, you made a rookie. And I thought Donovan Mitchell was deserving of that award. I really did. And I would have liked to have seen them co-share that award. I think that would have settled the score for a lot of people. It would have been, okay, I can deal with that. More than one guy getting it over the other when he really wasn't a rookie. As far as Harden, there's no way that he was the MVP. I'm sorry. I understand the league gives it to the best player on the best team record-wise. That's just what they've always done. And if that's the case, then yeah, it's Harden. But as far as what the eye test shows,
LeBron.
He's a one-dimensional player that does not play defense at all.
Oh, no, listen, not to cut you off. I agree wholeheartedly. Because it's the same years that you had the Malone and you had the Jordan arguments, right? You can't give it to LeBron every year. That's why I don't get too outraged about this kind of stuff.
But you know what, Q? We were when we were younger back in the day. We don't age ourselves, but when that was happening, what was our argument as even young fans then? It was, who cares if it goes to Jordan every year? He deserves it.
Sure, because he's the best player in the league.
Right, exactly. So to me, what LeBron James did this year with that Cleveland team, and let me say this, that Cleveland team twice, because the team after the All-Star break was the team he started the year with, they still went to the finals. And I'm sorry. LeBron is he's a five-tool player. He does everything that you ask. And I'm not saying Harden can't be a defender. I'm sure he could if he wanted to, but that's my whole point. Am I giving the MVP to a guy that clearly shows you he has no effort on the other end of the court? I mean, his defense is so bad on the other side.
It's laughable.
It is. It shows me that he has no effort.
He doesn't. But again, they're looking at listen. I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement 100%. They're looking at the pure stat lines, and it's let's give it to a team that won 65. He was the ultimate leader, and you're right. Maybe it's a different story if Boston actually gets through Cleveland and Houston beats Boston. It would have been a more competitive finals. But every year, it's just like Jordan years ago. LeBron James is and still is the best player, and he will be in the league as long as he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, and people keep saying, I've had some people tell me, well, you're a big Steph guy, a big Steph Curry fan, and I am. And they're like, but he's not a great defender. We're not talking about if they're a great defender or not. We're talking about the effort. And I can go back to these NBA Finals, and I can go back to the Western Conference Finals. How many times did you see Steph Curry get knocked over? I mean, that's because he was on a guy. He just wasn't physically able to stay on him. But the effort was clearly there. I don't see Harden even put the effort into guarding the game. He's letting Steph Curry go by him. I mean, I'm not saying Steph Curry shouldn't do that, but the way he's letting him go by him, it's almost like you said, it's laughable. So I just, I hate these popularity contest type things. I've been a big fan for years of, I don't think fans should be voting for players getting into All-Stars in any league. I know that sounds harsh because I'm probably the biggest proponent of fans out there, but you want people to get this stuff right. And I understand that the NBA, this was, writers that did this, but that stuff was made. Okay, how about this, Q? Let's fix it this way. Now they have this awards show, which I absolutely detest. And I'm an NBA guy, media guy, and I detest it. And I detest it because it's we all know it's about money, and you can market this and make this a big whoop-to-do. But I like the players getting this stuff while the season's going on. I mean, I like it while, they Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, you're finding out who the MVP is. That's the way it should be. And what that means is the vote has already been in. Well, my thing is, if you're going to drag this thing out, maybe you wait till after the playoffs. If you're going to really drag it out, wait till after the playoffs and vote on who the MVP is.
Well, listen, if you go by that rationale, then think about this. Then it will. Yes, it would have been. Well, think about this. You also given a Rookie of the Year award to a guy that scored 1 point in a real NBA playoff game. I mean, listen, I think he's a good player. He's not a superstar. Does it?
Ben Simmons we're talking about?
Yeah, Ben Simmons. Does it kind of? Does it?
I agree.
Listen, does it bother me that you win the Rookie of the Year in your second NBA season? Yeah, but I think maybe in years past I probably would have been up in arms. I think I'm just kind of over this kind of stuff because it's par from the course. It really is.
We know what this is. This is, and what's going to happen next year is I can tell you today. I think we've had this conversation on the airways before. Anthony Davis will be the MVP next year.
Of course.
They've already set it up for him this year to now they can push him next year. So the league does an awesome job. Don't get me wrong. The NBA is numero uno when it comes to marketing. We get that. They market players individually. They market them so that they can keep making money, and you have a forte of superstars. We get that. But I don't think they're picking the right guys to be the winners of these awards. And I'm sorry, if it's LeBron every year until he retires, so be it. Knock him off his perch as the best player in the game, and no one's done that. That's my thing.
Does it? Okay, the Simmons thing. Just for a second. Obviously, your beef is that he didn't play his rookie year.
Well,
so technically, he's not. Well, he's technically not a rookie then.
He's not because he practiced. Remember, he was injured last year, but he wasn't. I don't want to use that word, but he wasn't injured to the point where he couldn't practice. So he did practice up there with the Sixers at some point last year, and that's getting you ready to see the game. I understand practicing games are totally different, but any novice basketball player out there, you're going to practice with pros on a daily basis, you're going to go back to your local rec league and destroy people. There's a big difference in competition. So I thought he already had a year up on Donovan Mitchell. I don't see how he did it.
Hold on, Lake. Hold on, pal. You're breaking up. Hold on a second. Again, okay. We'll see if we can fix that. Hold on. Lake Lewis joining us for a couple moments on the Boardwalk on the Hotline, talking a little NBA on this Tuesday. Let's see where you're at. Go ahead, Lake. Finish your thought.
Can you?
Yep, you're fine. Exactly where you are, pal. Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Like I said, if you practice against NBA players, and you can just grab a novice player off the street, let him practice for, a couple months with NBA talented, caliber players, and then he go back and play against the guys who he was playing against before, he or she, for that matter, he's going to destroy them because it's a big difference practicing against pro players.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons did that last year. He's not a rookie. Donovan Mitchell coming in straight out of college doing what he did, that should have been the Rookie of the Year. And I don't think that's a knock on Ben Simmons. I will say this about Ben Simmons, and I agree with you. He's not a superstar.
No,
he's not a superstar.
And I'm tired of people saying that, too. And I'm tired of people also saying, you know what else? I'm getting annoyed by people saying that Jason Tatum is not a budding superstar because the kid is.
Oh, man, I would take Jason Tatum over Ben Simmons if I'm starting a team today. And I won't say that and mince words. I don't care who takes that wrong. Ben Simmons has a lot of different tools, but he can't shoot. He can't shoot, and it's bad. When was the last time you heard an NBA guard who's ball dominant, has the ball in his hand, he didn't make one three-point shot all year in a league that's driven in
by three-point shots? Yeah.
He didn't make one. I thought you would make one just because the shot clock was running out on a couple of occasions. You heat something up. He doesn't look to shoot. That's my point. You can't be a superstar with a black hole in your game. There's no way you can.
Well, you know what's so funny? A couple years ago, they were saying he's so good with his right hand. Why does he take his jumpers as a lefty?
Maybe he needs to take his jumper with the opposite hand because the one he's shooting with is just not as bad.
Where do you think, at the end of the day, before I let you get out of here, where do you think? What do you think is going to happen with LeBron? You got 3 more days, the 29th. He can decide if he's going to opt out or not. My gut tells me he stays in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think he stays in Cleveland. I do. I mean, he's done so much for that region, and the way he left the first time. I think fans there would understand if he did leave this time. But I just think he's got so much entrenched there, and he's already got his championship. He did something in Cleveland that had never been done in the history of Cleveland basketball, and did something for that city that they hadn't seen since the Browns in the 50s. So I think that, for him, you can sign the max deal in Cleveland, and, maybe the kid Sexton, is a nice building block, pieces to add to what he's done. The last time I looked, it's not like LeBron's not playing for anything. Every year he's in the finals.
Right.
No one's beating Golden State right now anyway.
Agreed.
And if they could go out and get Ariza from Houston, that's weakening Houston.
Yeah.
So to me, I think LeBron, as long as he's on the main stage, I think that's. I know he wants to win. I get that. But it's not like he's not making the playoffs. They're in the finals every year.
Yep.
So maybe he can recruit a big-time free agent to join with what they have in place. And I don't think they're that far off, to be honest with you, to be able. They could have won game 1. That whole series could have been different, I'm not saying they were going to win it.
No.
But the competition level is not fast that they can't compete. He just has to have 1 or 2 more pieces. They got a nice rookie guard. Maybe they can get a good free agent.
Nope, I agree. Hey, listen, great stuff as always, pal. Always appreciate the insight. We'll get to some NFL next week.
I appreciate it. Sorry for your fans, but I am in my car. I take my daughter to gymnastics today. So
you're a dual threat.
So
you know what? Father first. All right, my friend.